Okay, moving on to question 7. Team won 60% of its game. If it won 48 games, how many games did it play? So remember we have amount over base equals percent over 100. And the base is the whole thing. So it has won 48 games. So the amount of games won is 48. And the total number of games here is going to be x. This equals to 60%, so 60 over 100. Now we can cross out the zeros, reduce it further, divide the 6 by 2 to get 3, divide 10 by 2 to get 5. And now we can cross multiply. We get 48 times 5 equals to 3 times x. So 240 equals to 3x, and now we can divide both sides by 3. We get x equals to 80. So the answer is 80 games. Question 8. On a math test, Anna answered 32 questions correctly and scored 64%. How many questions were on the test? So again, 32 questions answered correctly over the total number of questions equals to 64%, so 64 over 100. We can divide 64 by 4 to get 16, divide 100 by 4 to get 25. And now we can cross multiply. 32 times 25 equals to 16 times x. So 800 equals to 16x. And then we divide both sides by 16. So there were 50 questions. Question 9. Aboriginal people number approximately 1.6 million in Canada. So 1.6 million Aboriginal people over the total amount of people in Canada equals to 4.5%. So this is 4.5 over 100. We cross multiply 1.6 times 100 equals to 4.5 times x. So 160 equals to 4.5x. And then we just divide both sides by 4.5. We get x equals 35.5 repeating. So we can say there are 35.5 repeating. To the nearest million is what they want. So we can say there are 36 million people. And 10. Student had 18 correct, 6 incorrect on a quiz. What percent of quiz did the student answer correctly? So that's 18 of the questions that are correct over a total of 18 plus 6, because 18 of the questions were answered correct and 6 of them were incorrect. To change anything into percentage, we would just times it by 100%. So 18 over 24 times 100, we get 75. So 75% of the quiz. In Nunavut, 28,000 people have an Aboriginal identity. But that's 28,000 over the total. The total will be x. If this represents 86.3%, so that's 86.3 over 100. How many people live in Nunavut? So we can cross multiply. We have 28,000,000 equals 86.3x. And then we divide both sides by 86.3. We get x equals 4.96. So they want us to round to the nearest 100. So there will be 32,400 people live in Nunavut. Question 12. Cindy's weekly pay after deduction of 32% was $595. So 595 over the total, the whole thing, equals to. Now this is a 32% deduction, which means that she gets to keep 68%. So that's the tricky part. A 32% reduction means Cindy gets to keep 68%. So the 595 actually represents 68% instead of 32. So now we can cross multiply. And divide both sides by 68. We get 875. So that's the amount of pay she had before the deductions. Deduction just means that when we earn a salary or whenever we make an earning, we need to pay a little bit of taxes to the government. So, in this case, Cindy is paying roughly 32% taxes to the government. And those are called deductions. 13. Kate's weekly pay went from $850 to $918. What percent increase in pay did she receive? So the increase amount is 918 minus 850. That's the amount of increase. And then we divide this by the original. The original pay was 850, and we just times it by 100% to change this into percentage. So that's 8%. That's an 8% increase. 14. The price of a movie increased by 20% to $12.50. What was the old price of seeing a movie? So if we let the old price be X, and this is what we have. We have X plus 20% of X, so 0.2X equals to $12.50. So X plus 0.2X is just 1.2X. And now we can divide both sides by 1.2 to get X equals 10.42. So the old price was $10.42. Okay, and then 15. 2 feet by 6 feet board is cut to the size of 1.5 and 5.5. What percent of the board has been removed? So the original area equals to 2 times 6, that's 12. And the new area, which is being reduced, is 1.5 times 5.5. And that's 8.25. So percentage that is being removed is going to be 12, which is the original, minus the new one, divided by the original, and then we times it by 100%. So 31.25% is being removed. $16. Coke cost 124 cents after adding 12% tax. What was the price of the Coke before tax? So again, we can let X equals to the price before tax. So this price before tax plus 12%, because we are paying 12% tax of X, which is the price before tax, equals to 100.24. So 1x plus 0.12x is 1.12x equals to 100.24. And now we can divide both sides by 1.12. We get x equals 89.5. So therefore, the cost before tax was $89.50. Okay, that's it for 4.5. I'll see you in 4.6.